Hello and welcome to Hank Games Without Hank. My name is John Green, the manager of the AFC Wimbledon Wimbly Womblys, who are in the FA Cup, the quarterfinals against Newcastle United, Premier League opposition for our lowly League Two squad. We got the best of the best, but the boys are a little tired, so we're going to have to hope that everything goes well. Today's topic comes from Project for Awesome donor Devin, who wants to know about significant milestones in my life, how they influenced my life, and which were the most influential. So I talked in the past about how I think that most events are really processes. Most things that we associate with like single moments, like wonderful or terrible moments, are really processes. But there are some moments, of course, in human life that are really wonderful and or terrible, like when you find out that a friend has died, or you always sort of know where you were when 9/11 happened, or whatever it is. These big moments in your life. So I'm going to talk about good ones because I want to put the AFC Wimbledon Wimbly Womblys in a good mood, because I need us to be positive here, even though we're up against a club that on paper is a lot better than we are. These games aren't played on paper. They're played inside of an Xbox. And so it's important that the boys know that I believe in them, even though the world has said they can't win. Here comes John Green to John Green! Oh, it doesn't work. Shoot! Shoot! What part of shoot didn't you understand? Goal Porter? What's your name? Goals! So, yeah, I mean, one of the things that Devin suggested was like the moment I found out that my first book was getting published, and that really was kind of an event. Like, it was a moment. I got a call. It's funny, actually, because I got a call first from Eileen Cooper, my mentor, and she said, "You're going to get an offer from Dutton," and she was like, "But now you have to pretend to be surprised." So then when I got the actual call, I had to pretend to be surprised, but I still sort of was surprised because, like, on some level, I still didn't believe that it was going to happen. So yeah, that was a pretty wonderful moment. And I was at work, and then that night I went out with my girlfriend at the time, and we went to a sushi dinner. And I remember we spent my advance for that first book was $8,000. So I remember that we spent 1%. We spent $80 on that meal, and I remember thinking like, oh my God, like that's 1% of my advance. Like I can only do that, 99 more times, and then I'll be out of money again. But that was a great dinner, and like just. It had been so many years of working with Eileen on Looking for Alaska, and the fact that it was going to become a book was very exciting to me. But then, of course, the real work happens, where you have to actually make it into a book. Oh, it's just not the right cross for Ball John Green, who was coming into the far post, and that that takes a long time. So I guess like the moment when like Alaska really became a book to me. When I first saw the galleys, that was the moment when I did really think like, oh, this is real. Speaking of real, oh, off the post. Oh, we can't hit the post with Newcastle. We're up against the Premier League. Get the ball in the net. Get the ball in the. Oh, wow, that was an intense couple minutes there. We really got to stay focused. I mean, that was probably the biggest like professionally transformative moment in my life, but the memory I have of was like the moment that I saw, I got the box full of Looking for Alaska galleys, and I knew that it was going to be a really real book. But the moment that I remember is not that moment. The moment that I remember is the moment that like kind of like made possible the rest of my career is hold on, no, like so much that is good and beautiful in the world. Oh, it all falls apart in the face of Newcastle. Nothing personal, Newcastilians, if indeed that is a real place. So my first novel, Looking for Alaska, won the Prince Award in January. I found out that it won in January of 2006, and that was the best. Well, I guess one of the two best moments of my life. Putting aside like your wedding and your kids being born and everything, like in terms of like purely joyful surprises, it was one of the two or three best. Because while I had hoped that Looking for Alaska would be considered for the Prince Award, and while certainly I knew that it had gotten good reviews, to me the Prince Award was the biggest thing that could happen to a book. It was cooler to win the Prince Award than it would be to have a movie version of your book. And to be honest, I still sort of feel that way. Like, I think the Prince Award it's just so hugely influential in our world of young adult fiction, and like, it's the best, most informed readers, the broadest readers in our world. Groups of young adult librarians come together to decide what's going to win the Prince Award, and it's just a really big deal. And I happened to be on the street in New York City on my way to register for wine glasses with Sarah and my parents. We'd just come from this outsider art show at a museum that I don't even know if it exists anymore, the American Folk Art Museum. It was a really good show, though. And I was, just having a really nice day with my parents, and then I got this call that I'd won the Prince Award. Let's get it! Oh, the devastation is palatable. I mean, palpable. It's also palatable. We can take it. Oh, that's frustrating. So, I got this call on my little, flip phone. Oh, God. Panic. Lizzie Bennett! I don't know if that was Lizzie Bennett or Frampton Comes Alive, but that was fantastic defending. Fantastic defending. All right. Get in there. Do not let them get on this ball. Do not let them get on that ball. Good job. Run, John Green. Run. Pass it to your husband. You were not offsides. He was not offsides. Oh, stolen at the last second. Oh, I got nervous. I've had like 62 breakaways in this game. I don't know what my problem is. Yeah, so that moment of like getting the call and Michael Cart, the head of the Prince Committee, and one of the most one of the best literary critics in the world of young adult fiction, saying like, you've won the Prince Award. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, and I mean, I was just like crying, and my parents were crying, and it was so crazy that my parents happened to be there that day, and like, yeah. So that was, I mean, in terms of that, and then the other one, which is much less, is a story that makes me look much less good, is when the movie rights to Looking for Alaska sold, because they sold for a lot of money at a time when we really needed money. Sarah and I were starting to think about moving to New York so that she could go to graduate school, and but I don't know if you know this, but New York is very, very expensive. And, we were at a time in our lives where we really needed money, and like out of nowhere, suddenly the Looking for Alaska movie rights were, whereas like the day before we'd hoped that maybe they would sell for, a few $1,000s, suddenly there was an auction for them, and they were a bidding war, and like it was just nuts. And when I got the final call from Paramount saying that that they'd bought the rights, and that this was going to be the deal, and it wasn't like life-changing money, but at the time it really was, because it meant that we could go to New York, and like all of this stuff that was going to be impossible was going to be possible suddenly, and like that was a pretty amazing day, I gotta say. Oh, but are we going to have an amazing day against Newcastle, or are we going to continue to struggle on in disappointment? Only 10 minutes left. There are a few others that I wanted to say. One of the best moments of my whole life is when I woke up one morning in July of 2007, and I looked at the front page of YouTube, as I did every day, to see what featured video I should watch that day, and it was my freaking brother. And suddenly, instead of having 200 YouTube subscribers, we had 6,000, and then, my new job became possible. And that's the only reason that I'm here with you right now, probably, is because YouTube featured that Osseo Deathly Hallows video in 2007, and Nerdfighteria went from being a couple hundred people to being this like really interesting community, because anything but this. Oh, what a tackle! What a tackle! Heroic. I mean, that was true heroism at its finest. Come on, that's just, is Yabamba tired or something? What's the deal with what just happened? That should never have occurred. Oh, he's very tired. Oh, our whole midfield is just exhausted. Okay. Let's try our best. Let's still try to win this game. Let's not give up. I'm going to put St. Luce out on the left, even though he usually plays on the right because he's all I got. And then Hell's Pels is coming in. All right, that's it. We switched everything up. We got a whole new midfield. Come on, new midfield. Oh, no, we need... What about our substitutions? That's rude, Newcastle. Typical Newcastle. I don't know anything about this club. They seem nice. Oh, tried to... Oh, it's coming down to the last minute here. We're not even going to get our substitutions in. All right. Oh, poor Yabamba. He's just exhausted. Whoa, Yabamba, that was an unnecessary foul. I know you're... What? 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 Are you kidding me? Come on. I mean, it was a little rough, but yeah. To me, that's a yellow. To me, it's a yellow. What? Do I still not get to make my substitutions? Well, at this point, I guess we're just hoping for a draw since we're playing with 10 men against Premier League opposition. We've really struggled for goals lately, you got to say. The AFC Wimbledon Wimbly Womblys. Come on. Find a way. Just find a way. Oh, that's frustrating. And the game hath ended. Well, I'll tell you more about milestones when we play Newcastle again in like a week. Because we didn't win yet, but we will win. Fear not, intrepid supporters. Best wishes.